So, hi everyone. I'm Mark. I'm the founder and CEO of Lenme, and Lenme is a subscription-based peer-to-peer lending platform that focuses on small amount loan market. Since our launch in 2019, we have 200,000 users, 2.5 million of loan originated on our platform, and 10,000 loans originated. If you look at the small amount loan market right now, which it's if someone wants to borrow $200 to $500, there is a huge gap in that market. 138 million Americans, they struggle financially and need for a short-term cash. The average interest rate that they charged for that borrower is actually 400% APR that's charged by payday loan lender or other online lender. The average borrow in that segment is around 10 times per year. And that's what made us think about like a subscription-based model. But we didn't stop looking only from the borrower side, but we also looked from the lender side, like lending business. Why banks don't want to involve in that segment? One, we found there is no full picture of the borrower risk profile. We found that there is high operation cost in either shop rent or salaries or just regular operations. Third is they still use a traditional way to either evaluate borrower or collect payment. That's why we thought about Lenme. Lenme is a fully automated subscription-based lending platform that starting from acquiring borrower and to collecting payment. So basically, Lenme connect borrower with lenders, with data provider to give more insight about the lender risk profile, financial institution lending business, and collection agencies, all in one marketplace that they can transact all their data. So, I mean, if you looked at loan profitability right now, I mean, this is it basically operational cost, default rate, and user acquisition. So, Lenme is trying to improve lower the operational cost, lower the default rate by giving more data and insight about borrower risk profile, and reduce the acquisition cost by having a new online solution using an app. And by doing all of that, we can definitely work on reducing the annual interest rate and by that increase the loan profitability. This is the market size right now. I mean, usually consumers spend around $141 billion. We focus only in $62 billion market. This is our current partner, TransUnion, Experian, Douala for ACH, Fiserv, Viewdly, and DebtTrader. Our model is a subscription based, so we charge a monthly subscription for the borrower and monthly subscription for the lender, 99 cents and 1% on each transaction. We also have 200,000 users, $2.5 million originated. We generate 12 cents for every dollar invested in our platform without involved in the interest rate. Lenme Predict is our machine learning algorithm that predict the likelihood of the borrower to pay. This is our investor. This is our borrower platform. This is our enterprise solution designed only for institutional lending businesses. This is our current ask. So our current round is $3 million round. We have previously raised 500, and we're basically going to focus on revenue generating project to improve our revenue from 16 cents instead of 12 cents. Growth of our user base and loan volume, sales strategy to acquire enterprise customers. Thank you so much. And you can also check our website, lenme.com.
Great, thank you.
Let it over.
All right, thank you, Mark. Good job on that. I lost track of whose turn it is now.
I think it's
Garth.
Now it's Garth. Now it's Garth.
So again, at the risk of sound like a broken record. I mean, this was too much content for 3 minutes. I was really interested. I was trying like hell to keep up with you in the end there, but you were just trying to get the slides out there. I mean, some of those numbers were very, very interesting, but it was just too fast. It was just I'm a human, stupid human, and I think one way to combat that, because there's definitely some information that you had to get out. Like your intro is too long. Like I get it. I know what that is. My first and most immediate question too was there are companies out there like name brands, and unfortunately I can't just like pop out the names, but I know that they're out there. You need to address that and say we're like, whatever lending club or whatever, like, but this is how we're different. Another point, in the end, you've had some success. Did you say you have 200,000 registered users? Like, I want to hear about that right off the bat. Like, just, again, there's people doing this, it's, and this is, and it was a while before I'm like, is this all app based, or I didn't understand the what is it, what is it, and maybe I think in the 3-minute format you're going to have to, instead of sort of talking about the market and that you're a SaaS and whatever, maybe just an example, just like, here's somebody that couldn't get a loan otherwise, is and they use the app, and this is, they borrowed $2,000 and they were able to do this, and and this was what happened, and they saved this, and the borrower was saved, and that's how you could work some of the numbers in, instead of just in sort of generic fashion like you did in the beginning, and it would be quick. Obviously, I mean, I think that if you had 8 to 10 minutes, then this would have been a much different presentation, because I think you had a lot of, this seems like a very good idea to me. I mean, it's, I just intuitively understand the market, that people need this, maybe even a nod to how COVID has increased, or, because it's my perception that that COVID would accelerate this, and the need for this, and the services that you're providing, particularly around, making these things happen, and whereas, lenders could be very conservative because they're like, oh, I can't really get information fast enough about these people. It's like, our platform does this. But I don't know. That's, I think I'm done.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll do two things. One, I'll just give some high level, and then maybe I'll reorder your pitch again. That seems to be my move tonight. So I'll just run with it. But there's this phrase sometimes we'll use on my team. I have a few guys on the team, analysts, and sometimes we'll say this after a pitch. We'll say, if you're explaining, you're losing. So you were explaining a lot in there. And so rather than explain so much in the sub 10-minute pitch, you've got to show or demonstrate. So I think up front, like first hit is product. Like, this is what it is. Like, kind of state it. Don't over explain the product. Just like, subscription-based lending platform. I'm using my words. You don't have to take my words, but that's kind of the vibe I got. The P2P thing, the words weren't on the slide. It threw me off a bit. I think P2P is an attribute, but hey, like, we're a subscription-based lending platform. We have lots of traction is the second slide, right? Show all the lenders that you're already working with, and show the fact that you have 200,000 users, per Garth's point. Third slide or third slide is like, banking brands, or who you're working with, business model, and then ask. Like, those 5 points, more showing and less explaining is I think just going to really set the hook, as I always say, on like, oh, okay, I do agree with Garth. I was literally waiting for we're just like Lending Club, but this is how we do it better. So I think that's actually, you could say that's a good or a bad thing. And some of these ideas is actually helpful, right? So highly abstracted, kind of peer-to-peer lending, subscription-based lending, I get lost in the complexity a bit. So you either show me with an analog, or show me with an example, or just literally show me with a picture. And then it's like, okay, now we can go deeper. But yeah, I would just reorder it a little bit, and just don't try to over-explain this product. Just try to show exactly, like, here's a block called user, or whatever, the person looking for money. When I say subscription, I mean, low dollar amount, 1,000, and high frequency, 12 times a year. So I'm like, oh, cool. So $1,000 loans, 12 times a year, 1 time a month. Like, now you don't have to explain to me all the other attributes of the user and this experience that you were trying to get out in 3 minutes, because it's not going to help. So yeah, I like kind of the hit me with the product, visuals are better, show me the traction, show me the partners, show me the 200,000 users. And now you're like, it's not an idea anymore. It's a real viable company, which is, I got that impression, but it didn't really knock me off my feet. But yeah, I mean, it's very, very cool idea. Super crowded space, pretty competitive. And so that's cool too, right? You're not out there chasing butterflies on some idea that no one's ever thought of. It's actually in a market that has some real substance and I think has some real opportunity. So very cool. Yeah, just don't explain as much. Demonstrate and show, because when you're explaining too much, you're kind of losing, right? You're burning time. And when you're burning time, it's like, I'm moving on to the next problem in my mind, probably. So anyway, yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark and Garth. Mark Maurice, we did have a question in the chat, and we've got, I think, about half a minute left. How many of those 200,000 subscribers have you adopted since COVID?
So, I mean, the current average daily download is around 400%. 400 users per day, and that's the average daily subscribers right now. But I mean, before that, it was just like 250 average. That's the difference between before COVID and after COVID.
Great. Thank you. And thanks, Mason, for the question.
What percentage
Again, if you guys
of users actually do a loan?
I mean, we have a 30% to 40% fulfillment of the loans. So, I mean, we always have a supply more than the demand. A demand more than the supply. So that's why we're working more into adding more lenders to our platform.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. And thank you, Mark, for the pitch from Lenme.